Ladies and gentlemen, D.N.A.
You. This next song is called Lubre. Yeah.
Hey Pat, when they play, can you control your excitement there with your foot?
No.
They don't need a snare drum to join the group.
It's called Steel Toe Boot. I'm part of Stomp, okay?
Don't let that talk either.
If we stay, y ya no te voy a dejar regresar, es la solución, dice mi corazón. Chiquitita, déjame en paz. Fue lindo el amor entre tú y yo. Pero ya te voy a olvidar. Es mejor para mí. Y no me voy a encerar, porque amor vive en mí. Y es la verdad que nunca fuiste para mí. No te olvides todas las sonrisas de mí. Pero ya te voy a olvidar. Es mejor para mí. Y no me voy a encerar, porque amor vive en mí.
Woo! All right. Let's talk. We're gonna need you on mic? If you,
Over
so
here?
when you talk, yeah. All right, cool. So, how does this project come together?
D.N.A. We're brother and sister. My name's Debutonica Debbie, and this is Alex Pacheco. And D.N.A. music project came together over decades of performing and playing music together. At least since I was age 4, and at least since I met my brother, which was when he was 8. I was 4. Oh yeah. I did not major in math.
Clearly.
Anyways, whatever. We're 4 years apart, okay? But yeah, our mom, rest in peace, Maria Pacheco, instilled music in us, and basically she was a poet and a musician and a singer, and raised us to play music, enjoy music, appreciate music, and yeah, it started in I would say we both have our own different musical journeys, like as far as like when I started singing and when he started playing guitar and other instruments, but we've played in numerous bands together and also separately. At first we had Kama Sutra, and I was the drummer, my brother was the guitarist and the lead singer, and then we played with the local artist Trip Keys, Oscar Arellano, in a band, and then
I know him.
Yeah. So we performed. We used to play in a band with him, and then after that, we had a band with Chris Mejia from Heretic. During the era where he used to play with Polomos. I don't know if you guys remember that band.
Like
Um,
05,
like-
06.
Yeah.
So I was
know
on the
Chris,
ocean.
Yeah.
I was in the Navy.
So we played in that. I was the lead singer. My brother was a guitarist. Chris was a drummer. And then after that, we played. I made music with Oscar, specifically Trip Keys, in a band called OD. And then my brother and I, throughout the years, whether we had our own projects or not, we always came together and wrote songs. And so in 2017, we started performing shortly after a big major life change that my brother went through. We started creating music together again. And specifically, Lumbre is a song that we created. And basically, we thought it was so fire. that
That's
we
the
were
song you guys are nominated for Song of the Year.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's funny. I was like, lumbar. You guys have the Song of the Year.
Lumberjack. Yeah. So Lumbre is the song, and at first we called it Fire. Anyway, whatever. We were creating another song together, and then that once we created that song, we were like, you know what, we need to make our music project, go on from here and just keep playing together. So that's kind of how we started. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
On my end, she mentioned we each have our own journey, but for me, about 5 years ago, I would say, kind of moved away from music, and she kept it going with Oscar. And for my life plan was I had gotten married, so I was already like on the way to getting the house and this and the kids and all the wife and kids. So music was like kind of slowly taking a back seat. We would like she said, we would jam for fun, because it's just who we are. My mom instilled in us to always create, always have an outlet for our sanity. But anyway, ended up getting a divorce, and that's when I was like at a vulnerable position, and that's when I felt the call to create something new. I got rid of my old gear, and this was like underneath her bed or something, and her husband had bought her at the time, and I just pulled that out. I had the laptop for my job, and I pulled up GarageBand, and I had a couple pedals from the past, and that guitar happened to be her coworker's, who was across the country somehow, and left it to her to babysit, and slowly it ended up being mine, let's just say. So now it's fully mine. The guy was like, you could just have it. So it's just cool how everything culminated, it just came together almost like destiny, like almost like a reminder that
This is my divorce baby.
this right here, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. We all
So-
have one. Yeah. So,
So-
a lot of fun. We love to perform and be a part of this together as siblings.
And it's really intricate, right? What you guys have together.
Yeah.
What starts the creative process? Is it GarageBand? Is it the keyboard? Is it the guitar?
It could be anything, It could be a song you hear on the radio. It could be a it could be a sound you hear. It could be an idea that you have in your head. But for our band specifically, I would say about 70% of the time, it just depends on the situation. Like this first song we wrote that I came up with, Tree of Life, the first one we played, was at the very beginning of the lockdown. And I was working from home, so I had a lot of extra time. She was super busy because she works like through hospital, the medical field. She was super busy on the phone a lot. So I kind of took that time to myself to just hash out some things and show her, kind of give her that, hey, what do you think? What do you think? And with a little bit of feedback, it morphs into with the sound,
Sometimes you got to calm the mind for creativity.
Yes.
And
I like
sometimes
that everything stopped.
you have to stop. Yeah. That stoppage, it was so great for so many people. It was not good for me because I just kept busier than normal.
Yeah.
I just drove myself crazy. And how do you succeed in this environment?
But also there's the flip side to that double-edged sword, I guess you could say, because for a lot of people it was hard, it was a burden. But so in a way, it's like we have to take advantage of those blessings that we have, like that we're able to pull out some instruments, and we don't have a lot else on our mind other than creating something new versus another, like my students. I work at a high school, low-income community, and their parents just didn't have, or the students or their parents didn't have that privilege of, well, let's make a song. It's like, no, how are we going to put food on the table? Like, how are we going to get this done? So in a way, we carry that energy in us too, because we're from South Oxnard where I work at, and that kind of like comes out in the music in a kind of way. I think in the very back end of it, the backbone is like bringing out the pain that we all collectively feel sometimes. And also the happiness.
I love that too. I love, our organization. We try to give back as much as we can to our community, musically. And you had mentioned, you touched on, there's parents that would like their kids to join a band, but the number one concern is food, shelter, car, gas. There's a great, I'm not sure how much you guys have heard of Notes for Notes out of Ventura, and that's what they do. I've donated several times privately, and we've donated as a collective. We did a show at the Ventura Theater, raised money for them, and those are children on the avenue who don't, after school, they have two choices: go run the streets, wait till their parents get home, or they go to a free after school program where they have Pro Tools, they have mics, they have a drum kit, they have guitars. So it's to have that creative output, especially when you're struggling, is, to me, it was a lifesaver.
Yeah.
Because that's all you think about. You know what I mean? You're like, fuck. Like, no matter where you go, the problem's still there.
Yeah, I want to shout out China Islands High School because I went there and they had this migrant program. So if your parents work in the fields, which my dad did, our dad did, then you're a part of this program. And they had a free mariachi group. And that's kind of how I started singing more publicly, too. So that was really beneficial that they had that program. They still have it, but I just want to give a shout out to migrant programs.
That's right.
I like that you said that's all you can think about, because same thing with music, it's all you can think about sometimes. It's like, I'd be driving in the car, I'm just like, damn, I'm just so blessed, to be able to do this. And especially with my best friend, it's like a blessing. It's like, wow. So I play our music all the time in the car. It's just crazy, I love just the feeling of accomplishing something together, that art. And like we lost our mom in April, so it's been like horrible. It's been heavy,
Yeah.
So we're doing this to keep her legacy. It's like her legacy that we're trying to carry on, and it's fun,
And she'll
Sometimes
live
it doesn't
there.
look like it because we're all like, we're very emotional, It's very bittersweet, but on the inside we are smiling.
Is this type of music like techno trance? What do you consider? What kind of what? That's the kind of vibe I was getting. Like, is that what that is?
Listen, man.
Because the first song you guys played reminded me of Robert Miles. You know who that is?
I've never heard of him.
He has a song called "Children," and that shit is it reminds me of Paul, but he's the one that got me into like the techno trance. And dude, I was just digging that. That shit was
I'm
good.
gonna have to
Yeah.
Robert Myers.
You'll
I'm gonna have to
you'll
look
rock
it
with
up.
that. Yeah.
What's the other guy's name? Call on Me? Is that no? Call on Me.
Oh, that one. I don't know what that is. But I don't know. But yeah.
Calvin Harris or what? I don't know.
I forgot the name of the guy.
Well, look, this is a culmination.
Eric Prides.
Eric Price and some Miles.
Robert Miles.
Miles.
I'll make sure before
They're
you
both
guys leave,
great songs.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
So this is the culmination of my sister gave you the whole breakdown. It's years of. We started off as like metalheads. Like she liked the Beatles a lot. The Incubus. You know what I'm saying? I like Green Day.
Beatles is an awesome metal band, but
Yeah.
Super.
Shout out Beatles.
I thought they were a punk band.
Legendary. Man.
Actually,
I love
they
Rage
were the
Against-
first
I
punk
love
band.
Rage Against the Machine. I loved Tool. I loved. She loved Deftones. Put me onto Deftones. So we didn't start off like this. You know what I mean? But some of that early sound kind of finds its way into not necessarily these two songs you just heard, but other songs like we have one called Love to Discover, and so I've heard people in the YouTube recordings when we're live, like we played at the Garage Bar in Satico, and one guy was like, "Oh man, that was like hip hop, bro," and the other guy's like, "No man, it's metal, bro." So they had like this little dialogue. I love that, man. I feel, shout out to Robert Miles and them, but I feel like our music challenges the listener to like kind of step off what they
Their
think
norms.
think outside the box. Open your heart to something new, Also, I think I write it with intention. When we write a song, we feel like it's an inclusive sound to where there's something for everyone. So we find ourselves like in a hip hop show. We played hip hop shows before, but we've also played like more like hippie style shows too, like where all the artists are there and everything.
I
Like
deliberately didn't classify it. Like, oh, that's sort of because I get it.
Yeah.
You guys are artists and you guys are making art. The end. Nothing else.
Don't put
Thank
me in
you,
a
man.
box.
That's
you know,
pretty
that's what-
tight.
That's just how like when you guys were doing it, like I think halfway through the first song I was like what kind, like I was writing down like questions or whatever and I went nope, art.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
So I'm the asshole. Thanks.
Yeah.
Nah, I like what T-Funk said. I submitted our music to Luminary Sounds. They hosted your guys' Junior Levy or
Junior Leto.
Junior Leto.
I have
and,
an interview
Missy.
tomorrow
Okay, cool.
with him at Oxnard College.
Sweet. Shout
11
out them,
o'clock.
man. They're working real hard. And I found them through your website of the VC Music Awards, and I saw that they had co-hosted, and I said, let me shoot my shot. Send it out and see what they think. They do have a segment called Sip Tea or Light It Up, and they heard one song that we didn't play here, but T-Funk was a guest on there, and I think you've had T-Funk here or no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or virtually. I saw that interview today. And
We multiple.
okay.
He's been here. He's performed on stage. He's actually came here twice.
Okay.
And I interviewed him. I support him. I think he's a really good person.
I haven't met him personally, but
Great
I
art.
look forward to meeting him one day. Well, I like what he said. He was like, you know what, man, I'm getting Sade vibes up, but at the same time, like, whatever they've looked for, they found it, man. They have their own style, their own genre, and I really feel like you can only get that from like starting at the bottom. Like I learned guitar on my own. Nobody pushed me to it. No, my parents were not. They weren't music. My mom's a music, like vocally, she sings and she used to sing and everything, but it was really like a calling. Like you just find the guitar. My older sister, took one lesson, and that was it. Left it in the garage, and I was 17. I just picked it up, put on a CD. Back in the day, we had CDs. It was Green Day, Dookie, the Dookie album, and I started with the top string. I was just like, man, how does this all work? And I didn't even know how to tune anything. So what you're hearing is a culmination of from that seed till now, and it's still growing. Like I love to talk with my sister about. I wonder what our future sound is gonna sound like. I don't even think we're there yet. Whatever this is temporary, and there's just so much work because we love music so much. We're just fans of music.
Yeah, we're just fans of music, and we like to do it for fun, and we like to evolve. Like we evolve as individuals, and then we evolve with our music.
Well, I'm so
pretty much what it is.
grateful and appreciative you guys took the time to hang out with us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you guys for coming through. Where can people find you if they're interested in following you?
DNA_music_805. And then on there, you can find our link tree. And we don't have a Facebook yet, but that's pretty much it. That's where people can find us.
Awesome. Well, this is D.N.A. Music. We are No Cover Presents the Red Light District Show, and we'll be right back after this.